Congratulations, you've unlocked All Apologies, a show about apology tours and demanding satisfaction. I'm your host, Trucker Andy, and with me, as always, is your co-host, Joe Sixpack. Joe, what's going on?
How you doing?
What's going on, everybody? Don't forget to go to allapologiespodcast.com to find all the links to the Patreon, YouTube, Instagram, former Red Dot now, X, Facebook. I started a Blue Sky account, Andy. But I've done nothing on it. It looks like a barren wasteland so far. But please go there to subscribe. Subscribe to YouTube. We're still looking for that. Demand apologies, issue apologies, refuse to apologize. And Andy, today we have a saga going on.
Yeah.
Right?
Joe, Red Dot, Blue Sky. Explain this to me like I'm 5. What the fuck are you talking about?
So Blue Sky is the alternative to Twitter, right?
I'm loosely aware of that.
Or X, right?
It's like the libtard X, right?
Yeah, libtard X, and I don't know. I found Wint was the first thing I found over there.
George Wint.
Yeah, and then I was just like, I don't know. I'll follow James Gunn, I guess. Like, I want to know what's going on with the new Superman. And then I gave up. I'm like, I was never on X anyway. And Red Dot is Chinese Twitter. So or Chinese TikTok, I should say. So they removed TikTok yesterday.
You could just said TikTok. Is it TikTok fully Chinese?
No, but it's like the Chinese TikTok.
Oh. Did Mr. Beast buy American TikTok yet?
No, I don't know. He's bought everything else. I don't know what else he could buy. Between him and Elon, everything's been purchased. But yeah. So today we found out about Neil Gaiman, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any other announcements before we dive in here?
Hackmania is coming up May 9th through the 11th. Use promo code NLO up at the top there
or promo code COME if you follow Cardiff.
Yeah. Or promo code Kaylee or promo code WATP or Tukey. All the promo codes work. Creep if you're a fan of Vinny over there. But the point is, come to Las Vegas.
Promo code All Apologies.
Yeah. And it's going to be fantastic.
For no discount.
Yeah. Use promo code SORRY to pay full price.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And Joe, this is an episode about the Neil Gaiman allegations. He's kind of a ditty in that regard. And this is an older story, right? That it's just kind of resurfaced because somebody asked him about it and he made a statement. He kind of reset his statement that he's innocent, but it's back in the news.
I feel like more people are just coming out with allegations.
Oh,
this feels very much like a little bit of Greg Wallace, who we covered, the MasterChef host in the UK, where there's a lot of allegations that just keep coming out right now, currently.
I'm going to say, based on what I've heard, it's not like Greg Wallace. It's even fucking crazier. But
yeah, I was going to say a mix between Greg Wallace and Chris D'Elia.
Yeah, more D'Elia-ish.
It feels D'Elia-ish. But let's get into it. So for Neil Gaiman has been dealing with years of allegations and legions of accusations, apparently. Let's go to clip 1 here.
We're examining the ongoing allegations against Neil Gaiman, what's being said, and what is his response. He's one of the most successful authors of the last 50 years, writing books, creating comics, and overseeing adaptations of those books and comics into TV shows and movies. You've definitely heard of him and seen or read something he's touched, whether it's The Sandman, Good Omens, American Gods, or even Coraline.
That's interesting.
That's interesting.
I didn't know he did Coraline.
I didn't either. Coraline, I don't know. I guess it only makes sense. It feels Neil Gaiman and Tim Burton are like the same person to me a lot of the time. So Coraline felt like a Tim Burton thing. And then it just goes like, because I don't like these properties that are something like walking the line between adult entertainment and children's programming, because I watched, I'm like, this gets insanely dark at the end. Like, I don't remember it specifically, but I'm like, I don't know what kids are watching this, or what kid is attracted to a property like this.
Oh yeah, a child watching this, and oh, this is a evil version of my parents with button eyes, and it's freaking me the fuck out. That's crazy. But I've never been a Neil Gaiman fan. I've tried, and I've never seen that Netflix thing. I read American Gods. It was a slog. I didn't enjoy it. I'm sure people are thinking I'm an idiot for not enjoying it. I did watch Good Omens season 1. I didn't watch season 2 yet.
Yeah.
I liked season 1. I'll say that,
Oh.
but it's more for.
I don't think you're going to get season 2.
No, I think season 2 is out, but season 3 is in development hell because of all of this.
Yeah. Similar. Like it's never. We'll get into it here, but yeah. So the allegations, what they're talking about here, and even this Watch Mojo UK little synopsis, like they like shy away from all the details of this. So this isn't even going to scratch the surface right now, but we're just trying to set up who Neil Gaiman is. Like, multiple awards, very well respected when it comes to like graphic novels, like Sandman specifically. It all just feels too goth kid, like everyone's gonna cut themselves. Like that's who likes this shit. But in clip 2 here, Neil Gaiman would be considered like a master in the fantasy and graphic novel world. He's responsible for Goth Kids, The Cure, and gay shit like Sandman.
King of dreams, ruler of the nightmare realm.
What are you doing here, Etty?
He's coming, isn't he?
Yeah.
Morpheus, the Aneromancer. You know, the Sandman.
He's a fairy story, Etty.
He's no fairy story.
Oh, he's a fairy story, all right.
He's maybe the biggest fairy story I've ever seen. He could only be a bigger fairy story if he was drinking an espresso martini.
And ripping off Freddy Krueger and the Matrix in the first 30 seconds of the trailer. For shame. Everyone knows Freddy Krueger is the king of the nightmare realm. And Morpheus, I mean, I'm sure like there's deep lore or whatever around what Morpheus is, or who that is, but it's not just Lawrence Fishburne.
Right. But Lawrence Fishburne will always be my Morpheus.
Yeah.
Hashtag not my Morpheus.
Right. So for my clip 3, I just did a little more Sandman and into American Gods so everybody can get an understanding here. So here's where it gets super gay and then some American Gods stuff.
Hands! Open your hands now!
This is my man, Shadow Moon.
He does not know our world.
I'm easing him in.
You've gotten yourself mixed up in some really weird shit, Shadow.
You think I'm spent?
Times, they are changing.
We need you to fight them, to show them who we are.
They are gods, for God's sake!
Yeah. So you mentioned you read it.
I read the book and then I never watched the show. Did you watch the show?
I watched the first season, or like a lot of the first season, and it just, I don't know. It's just a little too stylized, or I don't know. I appreciated the conceptualization of it, but
that cast makes me want to watch it. But the fact that I read the book and I know what happens makes me not want to watch it.
Yeah, to tell you the truth, I don't know if it just goes with what was written or if it expands on it, but yeah, the cast is intriguing, and I also like how they bring in like the tech kid as a god.
Like, it's not in the book, right?
that's not in the book, and I thought that was a good expansion of it. So there are things about it that are intriguing, but
Sandman, I mean, how long has that been out? And I never gave that a chance, but it just looks
super gay.
Yeah, it is all just. I think maybe world building is one of the strengths of Neil Gaiman. Like when it comes to like building out a concept that has maybe never been done, or is a new twist on an old concept, because he's definitely done like books. I think we'll see like his Norse gods book pop up somewhere along the line here. So obviously,
I always equated to him to Chris Claremont from X-Men. People that I don't know, just when when I think of one, I think of the other kind of.
I often confuse him with like Alan Moore, like Watchmen and the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and things like that. I like he's like the newer, gayer goth version of Alan Moore. It seems like, but
and he looks like Tim Burton, so that doesn't help him be any less goth. You're making Coraline. You're just trying to be Tim Burton.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. And once again, and I don't know if we made this clear. Andy and I both said we're not really fans of Neil Gaiman. Andy and I grew up Spider-Man and Hulk fans and comic fans, and then you look at Sandman, and I'm like, there's nothing to jerk off. Where's the big titties on the cover? Like, there's nothing here for me.
Yeah, I'm not going to go cut myself. I think I'll just read Iron Man.
Yeah. Let me read about alcoholism instead of being a fairy ponce. So, Andy, one of the things that I know you love about artistic endeavors is when they discuss the process. Here, when artists talk about their craft, here's the Lemony Snicket guy talking to Neil Gaiman about writing in clip 4.
Oh boy.
You know, nobody would have turned around and gone, your market niche is do a sort of reply to Kipling's The Jungle Book and set it in the graveyard. That's not, things like that happen because somebody wants to tell a story, and because you have an idea, and because you think you can tell that story better than anybody else.
And it turns out there's room, which is, I think, so inspiring to me. I mean, when I was starting out, I felt like there wasn't room. You think there's literature, and there's the stupid scribbles that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now take this nozzle, and now you squeeze this bag, and it goes up your twat. You're being such a douche. Why are we talking? Nobody cares about how the craft service was set up on the set of Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 2. Okay, just show me the movie. I don't need to know. If you like sausage, you want to eat the sausage. You don't want to know how it's made.
You don't want the director's commentary over your DVD, Andy?
I guess if you like something enough, then you'd be interested in something like that. But it's just, I mean, you gotta really like it to want to hear that kind of conversation.
Now, I don't know if like the Kipling, like response to Kipling's Jungle Book set in the graveyard, is that Coraline? I think that might be, he's talking about himself there in the douchiest way possible. But yeah, Neil, and then the guy's just like, oh, and then there's room in here for everyone because there's literature, and then everything that all the scribblings I'm doing. And Neil's like, yeah, your shit is stupid. I'm a genius. What are you talking about? Keep trying, sir. Lemony Snicket.
I'd rather read Lemony Snicket than American Gods. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm. I had to go looking up who that guy was, because I'm like, this just looks like some sad sack shoved into a suit talking to Neil Gaiman. I'm like, this guy must be somebody,
Sure.
because they're talking about writing. So I'm like, oh, this guy's actually very popular, very popular writer.
The fact that you don't know who it is doesn't make him not relevant, Joe, just because you don't know.
Well, that's why I did my research. Andy, do your research.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
like we have to. I love throwing that at people.
Say, touch grass and do your research.
Yeah.
My mantra for 2025.
Yeah. Okay, more about Neil Gaiman's process. Is there anything more annoying than talentless people asking how you do what you do?
Yeah.
I wanted to know, when you are ready to work on something, do you outline it first? Do you tend to just start from an idea and then take it from there?
I'm much more likely to start something, get fairly deep into it with just a sort of a bunch of ideas and notes to myself that I never then go and look at, get 3/4 of the way through it, get completely stuck, and then write an outline that takes me to the end.
Hilarious.
Is he sitting there next to an award that he's won or something? What is? I'm surprised he's not just like jacking himself off while he's answering.
Andy, that's the St. Louis literary award, or what? St. Louis celebrating an asshole. You've done it again, Missouri. Andy knows I love Missouri.
Just what your setup for that reminded me so much of Harmontown, when almost there was an era of Harmontown where almost every episode ended with him turning to the audience and just running around going, "How do you know when you're finished? How do you know when you're finished?" Because everybody asks him that. It's a writer's trope, I guess, of up and comers asking seasoned professionals how to write.
Yeah. Yeah, Andy, that's why I'm not a best-selling author. It's because I'm not doing an outline at the beginning, or I don't start outlining a story 3/4 of the way through. If it was only for the outline, I would be a best-selling author. No, your writing sucks, and you're telling a boring story.
Yeah.
You're boring.
Yeah. Why is my career not taking off? Is it
Stupid! You're so stupid!
That's Neil Gaiman's advice to a kid fresh out of college trying to make his book get published.
Yeah. So now that we're fed up with his work and fed up with him as an artist, let's get into hating him for deeper reasons. Let's talk about the allegations against Neil Gaiman. And I wanted New Girl here because I have questions about pronunciation of things here.
Yeah, I know, right? It's British and it's true crime, so she should have been here. Maybe people should know that this was turned into a 5-part deep dive true crime series that we're going to be covering on our Patreon. We're recording this to sort of establish who Neil Gaiman is. And if you want to know all of the graphic details about what people are accusing him of, there is 5 hours of that we are going to victim blame over on the Patreon later.
Andy and I stumbled across a treasure trove of content that we're going to be doing on the Patreon.
Yeah, so maybe we'll get a New Girl on board for one of those. But let's hear what people are. Yeah.
Investigation led by highly experienced journalists, including Rachel Johnson, appeared in July 2024 on a podcast by Tortoise Media.
However many texts a woman might send afterwards, that still happened in that order.
This podcast didn't gain too much attention at the time, though it did lead to scrutiny on Gaiman and affected some of the productions he was working on. He left Good Omens Series 3, while other shows have been put on hold.
Oh, I see what you mean about pronunciation.
Tortoise or whatever.
Tortoise?
Aluminium.
Does AI not know how to pronounce that word?
Yeah, is that guy AI? I thought that too. I'm like, is it AI or is it just British? That was my question for New Girl.
What
But
we're going to learn is those two, while they may be accomplished seasoned journalists, they are boring as fuck podcasters. They're so fucking dry and boring. And I tried to cut as much of that out as I can in my presentation that we'll get to for Patreon over on All Apologies Podcast. Patreon.com/All Apologies Podcast. Subscribe for just $5 to hear these douches. Hear us tear apart these douchebags.
Or if you're Holland Oates, hooray for Holland Oates, by the way.
Angel investor, Holland Oates.
Yeah. So yeah, I do my best to, obviously I want the commentary to be coming from us. So I tried to cut those podcasters out as much as I could. I tried to take their work and make it my own as well as I could, but without discrediting them completely. It will all come from them, obviously.
Right.
But yeah, so I guess we'll dive deeper into this in the Patreon, Andy. You'll tell me a lot more about this, but what they say there is that this was kind of known for a while, or it came out with this podcast came out. It didn't get much traction, and Neil Gaiman just continued to work, just being like, "Oh, you don't like me, hitting you with a belt, or putting a leather daddy outfit on. So what? Like that seems to be the initial feeling around the allegations."
I don't like the image you're conjuring of Neil Gaiman and a leather daddy. Yeah, that's poisoning my mind.
Mm-hmm. The Sandman, the gay Sandman's coming for you, Andy.
Yeah, it's the real King of Nightmares.
Some nude man blowing kissy faces at you. It's gonna be in your bedroom.
Ew.
So shit isn't going well. What else? Clip 7.
Podcast, which is called Master: The Allegations Against Neil Gaiman, went through the stories and evidence provided by women accusing him of serious sexual misconduct and assault, including their WhatsApp messages, texts, and NDAs Gaiman asked them to sign. It's key to note here that an NDA doesn't protect anybody from being investigated or charged for criminal wrongdoing. As well as the NDAs, there were large payments made to the women, one receiving $60,000 and another receiving $300,000 from Gaiman.
Oh, that's a bad sign. When you start paying people out, that means you know that you're guilty.
That's called a paper trail. Yeah, so that's where I said this kind of starts feeling like Greg Wallace and Chris D'Elia, as far as Greg Wallace with the NDAs, Chris D'Elia with the kind of sadomasochism, the master kind of mentality of controlling your audience. In my clip 8, things are escalating, right? Things are controversial, but now they're escalating.
January 2025, Gaiman found himself the subject of a cover story in New York Magazine. The cover featured only a picture of Gaiman and the phrase attributed to him by the now 8 women who have accused him, "Call me master." The most detailed allegations come from one woman, Scarlett Pavlovich, who worked as a nanny for Gaiman and his then-wife, Amanda Palmer, after meeting Palmer.
You spend enough time with your fans and they really know you and they really like you and they really trust you.
Uh-oh. Yeah, your fans are not your fucking private workforce. This is what's her name?
Ballinger.
Ukulele. Oh my god. Yeah, Colleen Ballinger. Holy shit, man. We're gonna get real Colleen Ballinger vibes going in a minute here.
All right.
But yeah, that sounds like a Colleen Ballinger statement right there.
Well, it's a double-edged sword of fandom, I guess, because these nobodies want access to these people that they idolize. And when you show up and act like you'll do anything for Amanda and Neil, and suddenly they're saying, well, would you jack me off? And then you're like, oh, when I said I'd do anything for love, but I won't do that kind of mentality, right? Meatloaf said it. Meatloaf said it best, Joe.
Asterisk within reason.
Right.
I'm here to help with, but even today,
I thought
people,
I thought you were a fan.
Yeah.
My bad. I guess you're not my biggest fan.
people are still falling into this though too, as far as like, I don't want to say like an ESO doe type of like fans who become like your like a mod. Like very often you're just like, I'll just pull like somebody who's in the comment section every day and make them a mod. You know, it's just like, okay, you're giving a stranger control over your show in a way that might be problematic, you know, and this goes deeper than that. You're taking fans of yours and making them your nanny or whatever the fuck's going on. Yeah. So they escalated, but now there's a twist in clip 9, Andy.
Proceeded to seriously assault her after she'd said no, also revealing that Palmer had told him explicitly not to try and sleep with Pavlovich beforehand. Pavlovich continued working as a nanny, explaining that at the time, she didn't view what happened as non-consensual and had such low self-worth that she accepted Gaiman's treatment of her. Many similar and degrading incidents followed, the details of which are too sickening for us to repeat.
But we will on Patreon.
Right. Not too sickening for All Apologies podcast. I just, what struck me there was I told him not to rape her. Amanda Palmer said, please don't rape this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Yeah, so Amanda Palmer told Neil not to try and sleep with her, meaning there were times she didn't say, don't sleep with this one, right? So, Neil, I'm tired of changing dirty diapers. Could you stop soliciting Blumpkins from the help, please? All right. How many nannies do we have to go through?
Yeah, New Zealand is only so big. We're running out of nannies.
Okay. In clip 10, a new villain emerges, Andy.
Throughout the article, it becomes clear that Palmer knew about Gaiman's habits, if you will, involving vulnerable young women. Chillingly, Pavlovich later recounts what happened when she finally told Palmer everything he had done, with Palmer saying, quote, 14 women have come to her about this, end quote. Seemingly, she knew everything and didn't stop him to protect other women.
You mean you didn't realize that she was a villain with those eyebrows drawn? Oh, did she need to draw on a curly mustache instead of those eyebrows for you to realize that she was a bad egg?
Andy, when I'm not drawing on my eyebrows, I'm Ghislaine Maxwelling vulnerable women to my dork husband.
Yeah.
I mean,
the only thing that's missing is her eating Fruit Loops one at a time, like in Get Out. Like, oh, that's creepy. What other creepy shit can I do to make you fully aware that I'm a villain?
Yeah. Fuck, what was I gonna say? She's okay. So we're gonna get into her. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. What I heard here, and I don't know, it's probably gonna be some type of like mic drop type of thing in the podcast, is that they were in like essentially an open relationship, mostly because they both wanted to fuck their fans. You know, it's just like we have so many fans. What are we not gonna fuck our fans? So let's just not be so hard on each other, and you can just fuck whoever you want. And this was the mentality between the two of them.
Call me crazy, Joe, but it seems like the biggest benefit of being famous is having a large pool of fans to blow you.
Right.
Isn't that why people want to become famous?
I think isn't that a direct quote from Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah.
That
was his Oscar accepted speech.
That's why George Clooney and Leonardo DiCaprio didn't get married or didn't have serious relationships for, into their late 40s and 50s. But I think in the last clip, the woman's like, I didn't consider it non-consensual and I had such low self-worth. It's just like, yeah, you're reading Neil Gaiman. We know you have no self-worth.
Yeah. I didn't realize I was an emo kid because I was consuming all of the Neil Gaiman I could get my hands on.
So we're going to dive real deep into all of this, and Neil Gaiman will be a topic for a long time. What I could not let go of is Amanda Palmer. And so I went looking for more on her because this is almost worse. You know, when in the land of women, you being aware of this and doing nothing is almost more egregious than the abuser in a certain way. If you were going to have a certain type of discussion.
Yeah. Girl on girl crime.
Yeah. So I found that pretty gross. And I couldn't stand looking at her stupid eyebrows. And so through my research, I went looking for more and found this interview out of Australia.
Is this 12 or
11?
11. Thank you.
You know it's nothing formal, Amanda.
I don't do formal.
Thank you.
I mean, if I really have to, I will, but I fucking hate it.
You can tell from the scars on my arms and the cracks in my hips, the dents in my car and the blisters on my lips. But I'm not the carefulest of girls. You can tell.
All right.
What a talent.
Yeah, anytime somebody pulls out a ukulele, that's a red flag. That's an indicator of
what if a ukulele is your fucking security blanket in this whole package? Jesus Christ, wait till you see what happens here. So you're telling me the barefoot mental patient carrying a ukulele doesn't do formal? Yeah, we know.
Yeah. I'm shocked to learn.
In the next clip here, there isn't one sentence in this clip that isn't the most up your own ass thing I've ever heard in my life. Clip 12.
Powerhouse performer has even called herself an imperfection artist. So what drives her to put it all out there?
I come from punk and folk. I was always drawn towards the type of art where the preoccupation of the artist seemed to be being as real as possible. Not as perfect as possible, but more art as real. Like, how honest can I be with you and get away with it?
I don't know. I already don't like how honest you're being.
Yeah, Andy, can I be honest with you? I draft losers into my employ just so my husband can fuck them. How real can I be with you?
Yeah, right.
Don't do what Donnie don't does.
Maybe confessing to your crimes is too real. I don't know. I'm an imperfection artist, right? This is the Patrick Michael mentality of, well, I wasn't even trying. So
yeah. I can tell by the way you were playing that piano that perfection wasn't on the menu.
Exactly. So in Amanda clip 3 here, I hate the way she tries to earn acceptance with the interviewer here in clip 13.
Learning how to be honest with people, especially in a performance space or in an interview or on a blog post, is its own occupation. It's its own talent. It's its own job. And I've spent a long time doing it.
What made you that way? Where did you get that courage from to just go, world, this is who I am?
I think I was the youngest of 4 kids. Wanting to be seen, I think that can't hurt.
Hello. This is probably against the rules. So.
How edgy. Look where I'm over here now.
Allow me to congratulate myself for 2 seconds and then 2 more seconds. How long do you have?
When I'm not painting my face so I look like I'm dripping in load, I'm sitting up in the balcony. I was the youngest of 4 kids, so I was a fucking desperate attention whore. So slapping at a piano and caterwauling is the same as doing an interview or a blog post. Art. What I do, slapping at instruments on stage is very similar to you interviewing me about it and then writing a post about it. We're artists, you and I. We're a team together. Oh, how did you get so courageous and to just go up there and be talentless? Oh, I don't know. I don't know how I do it.
Yeah.
It
was very brave of you to go on stage and do that. Oh, this isn't stage makeup. Neil's on tour with me. This is Neil's load. I'm covered in,
just dripping down my head. Okay, in clip 14, you might think sucking on ukulele is an accident. Nope, it's profoundly intentional, Andy.
Oh yeah, everybody does.
The thing I have noticed as a touring musician is that often the show doesn't land and settle and feel like everyone is comfortable in the room until there's been a mistake.
It's very comfortable up here.
I'll mess up a lyric, or a chord will come unplugged, or there won't be a glass of water on stage, or the mic stand falls over.
Dear God.
Who wants to hear that? Look at how many people are in the audience to hear a fucking ukulele. That's like a sideshow at a fucking luau. Like it's not anything I'm going to pay money to see.
People being disappointed if there's not a mistake is insane. I wish Ed was here to co-sign on the fact that when we went to see Tool and everything was flawless and an amazing light show, and they're traveling with 10 tractor trailers and 12 tour buses for 4 guys and putting on an amazing flawless show, that's not better than what Amanda Palmer forgetting her microphone. People were satisfied with that. And what you're doing is clownish, dare I say. You're a fucking gross clown, Amanda Palmer.
This was my least favorite part of that clip. What I find is that people aren't comfortable in the room until there's a mistake. What a fucking epiphany you've had. Also, to Andy's point, yeah, in an arena, that doesn't go over. If you're at some small art house theater that's an intimate evening with Amanda Palmer, then yeah, maybe a little bit storytelling and fuck ups are appreciated by the people that you can literally see not 10 feet away from you. In the back of fucking Madison Square Garden, nobody's fucking thinks it's cute if your fucking ukulele cord comes unplugged.
Yeah, I've never heard an audience member walk out of a live performance and say, yeah, I was really disappointed that it was a flawless show.
Look, everyone, I'm a shitty fuck up just like you. Don't you feel more comfortable with me now, Andy? We're in the shit together. Great.
Yeah, if you want to let yourself off the hook for being substandard, then that's the kind of comment I would expect from you. Something's gonna be fucked up. I'll fuck something up for sure, and I'm not gonna beat myself up about it, is what you're saying.
This is like some rich blowjob artist who's trying to, she's in her art studio, and the whole purpose, the purpose is not the art. The purpose is the art show that, Reginald will put on for me, and I'll glad hand the illiterati around town and promote my show. The promotion of the show and the show itself is all there is, and whatever is happening on stage can just be dog shit. That seems to be the mentality. Okay, in clip 15, what is real and what is an illusion, Andy?
The moment where everyone in the room goes, oh, we're here.
Yeah.
We're just here and we're doing this thing. And the illusion of perfection is broken down and disintegrated a little bit. And I think as human beings, I think we're turned on by what feels real, by what feels natural. When I talk to my friends about what turns them on, people with big noses, like someone who's got a crazy shaped ear, like the things
I love crooked smiles. If you've got a crooked smile, I'm a holler at you, yeah.
No.
Okay, again, it's like it's never going to be good, so I'll just champion the fact that it's not.
Yeah. The illusion is your talent. That's the illusion.
Yeah.
All right. Being attracted to the grotesque doesn't mean it's good. You know, it's a trick. It's a grift. It's a fugazi. Like that's not like just nobody wants to sit and stare at the car accident for an extended amount of time. I do want to stop and look. You know, like you describing your husband, you know, fucking goofy faces and big noses and deformities, you know, it's just like, you know, that's not whatever. Yeah, you're so different. This symmetrical attractiveness is just not for me.
Hey, take it from asymmetrical guy. I'm here for women that don't demand perfection, but don't try and say that it's the point of your performance to again, you're pulling out a fucking ukulele. How dare you? How dare you sell tickets to that? There's no way that people are earnestly enjoying that. There's only so much you can do is the whole point of that instrument is it's baseline. There's like a baseline glass ceiling. It's never going to achieve an entertainment value that's good.
You're not going to do Eddie Van Halen style tapping on a ukulele, Andy? Is that what you're telling me?
Show me somebody doing that and I'll change my mind.
The only thing you could do to sink lower would be a kazoo and some maracas. You know, then I could say that's art. Make a kazoo and maracas good, and then I'll pay I'll pay the ticket price maybe.
Here comes Amanda Palmer with her encore. Clap your hands, everybody, and everybody clap your hands. The next thing she's making the audience do the show for her.
Yeah. All right. In clip 16, excuse me. This starts with her continued effort to relate to losers and ends with stupid questions.
Tulips and vegetables, which I'm actually doing right now, just not very well. I just let them all die. That's not very funny, but it's true.
In 2020, Amanda Palmer was married to author Neil Gaiman and finishing a huge world tour. Then, life intervened.
So I want to talk about your latest release, New Zealand Survival Songs. Tell me about the period that music was written.
That was on my period when I wrote it. Is she American or Australian? She's just like big in Australia, seemingly.
Nah, I think she's American. She's in the Dresden Dolls. Was like the I guess kind of I'd heard of them or whatever, but nobody wants to listen. I'm slapping at a piano. Like I'm not interested. You know, it's not for us for sure. Like obviously this is none of this. Neil Gaiman, fucking whatever your fucking jazz exploration piano concerto fucking bullshit, not for me. Andy, please.
If I had, I mean, do I have to play that clip again so you could hear the quality of the ukulele?
Yeah, no shit. Like there's no I don't understand. It's always the same. You know, like please, for the love of God, put down the ukulele. We're going on a casual stroll. You don't need to bring it. I promise you won't need it. Just leave it on the bench. We have a PA. They'll watch it for you. Your precious ukulele will be fine. You don't need it on the walk. What are you doing?
Stuttering John is a better musician.
Yeah, I wish we had that chord.
Yeah.
That's always hilarious when Chris plays that. Okay. in clip 17, I have a feeling that no one is working harder than whoever's booking venues for Amanda Palmer.
Yeah, really?
So I was at the end of a year-long tour. I had my last 4 shows in New Zealand.
What?
It was mid-March 2020, and it all fell apart. My marriage collapsed. I wound up being a solo mom for about 8 months in a town I'd never heard of, in a country I knew nothing about, really. I was eviscerated. My heart was broken. My life was broken. My career was broken. Like, everything just came to a total crashing halt.
Can you break that ukulele over your knee? As long as we're in the middle of breaking things.
Yeah, speaking of crashing halts, he smashed that ukulele. Andy, well, and why did your marriage end? Do you think, well, if you had to guess, why did your marriage end?
I kept tripping over rape victims.
I had to be a solo mom for 8 months.
Oh my
8
God.
months I had to be a solo mom.
It's so hard for rich and famous people.
Andy, here Amanda speaks to more of her struggles in clip 18.
Was she actually solo, or did she have an army of people helping her that
No, it was
were lining
COVID.
up to blow Neil?
Having panic attacks and anxiety attacks for the first time in my life at 45. And waking up at 3 a.m. with spinning thoughts, short of breath, unable to calm myself down. And I was alone. It was level 4 lockdown. So I was like, you're just gonna have to figure this out. Like, there's nowhere to go, there's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide, and you have to be okay for your kid. So I learned a new art of being and feeling okayness, even though things were totally not okay.
Oh, whatever.
Oh my God, Andy, panic attacks? Doing it alone? If only there was a babysitter that could have helped you.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you fucked that up.
Yeah.
If only you had a husband to help. Oh, no, again, not on that. I wonder if all the sexual assault victims have panic attacks and anxiety
Yeah.
over this. Poor Amanda. I mean, what an endurance challenge that must have been.
Yeah.
To have to be a single mom. Nobody ever has to go through that on a daily fucking basis.
Right. If only I had
no money.
millions, hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars to use on TaskRabbit to hire somebody to watch my kid, you're gonna be just fine. Nobody's fucking worried about you.
Yeah. I wonder if the grocery bill was part of the anxiety. No? Oh, okay. Then you're fine.
People are more worried about your babysitter than you finding a babysitter at this point.
So here's more of Amanda being a lazy artist.
4 songs in 2.5 years, and they were really just like little messages in a bottle. I just wanted to be able to express something, even if it wasn't pretty, even if it wasn't perfect.
Was it confronting or cathartic writing these songs?
What a great question.
Super cathartic, writing them and recording them. Hard to play them and listen to them honestly.
Oh, it's hard to listen to them for sure. Andy, I don't know if you heard at the beginning. She said she wrote like two or three songs in a 2 or 4 year period, is what she was talking about there. That's
the opposite of prolific.
Yeah. I just couldn't stop. Right. I got in a lot of people, Bo Burnham did a whole fucking comedy, quote unquote, avant-garde comedy special during COVID in his one little house there.
Yeah.
She wrote two or three songs.
I know. Chris Stapleton writes us one song a day every day, and she's struggling to write one song a year on a ukulele. The fuck?
Crazy ass cracker.
Andy, I don't know what chord to write this song on a ukulele.
Yeah. Should it be C?
Stuck.
Should it be in C or should it be in A? I'm all out of options.
All right. We're almost done here. This seems like a typical fan interaction at an Amanda Palmer show. Clip 20.
The other night, and there was a girl, probably in her 20s. She was just crying and shaking. And I just held her for a while. And she was like, I can't explain. And I was like, you don't.
I used to be your nanny.
I need to.
That's a pretty incredible response as an artist, that someone responds to your work in that way.
There's no better feeling, honestly,
than watching women cry.
I'm blown away by the radical honesty Amanda sends into the world and what comes back in return. We only just met, but as she shares her imperfections, it's difficult not to feel connected to her.
We only just met, but I'm already sick of her.
Yeah. Andy, there's a lot of unmedicated cutters at her shows.
Oh, yeah.
The interviewer watching her grade out a tune when she's looking at her like more white nonsense.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
Totally.
All right, last clip here. We get a sneak peek at the statue that the French crafted for America to represent talentless losers as they flock to our country.
Imperfection your superpower?
I like to think I'm getting better at it. One of the great things you can do as you get older, and I have learned this especially from the women in my life, that there's such a power in accepting the mess. Standing in your strength as a wrinkled, flabby, asymmetrical, imperfect person, and not being overly apologetic about it because the world wants to fit you into a tighter box.
Boom, apology. Met the criteria. It's unapologetic for sucking ass. She's so desperate to be unique and different. And
what a pompous asshole. Like, even if you weren't a sex criminal, just the sheer douchey pompousness of what you're saying and like your opinion of yourself. I can't, we have to decide whether we're accepting anything, and I can't press this button fast enough.
Fuck you!
Yeah, stay in Australia, asshole.
I didn't think that I would hate her more than Neil Gaiman. Like, when we started this, the revelation that she's such a insufferable asshole.
I can only imagine that in the mini series that we'll listen to, that this will pop up more, because we already heard that, the one accused, Scarlett, whatever her name is, that's been named as a victim, talking about bringing it to her, and she's like, 14 women have they just won't stop telling me that my husband's raping them. When will these women stop harassing me?
My phone is ringing off the hook. All of the rape allegations.
And she fucking has the balls to sit there with a fucking ukulele and talk about how imperfect she is. Yeah. Are you fucking for real? Like, when I found this interview, I was just like, as the clip count was growing and growing and growing, I'm like, I can't eliminate any of this because this woman is horrible.
You're right.
She's an insufferable asshole and fucking enabling these sexual assaults. And it's just like, now, whatever. Once again, coming back to this, I don't know the Dresden Dolls. I don't know fucking Sandman. I don't know anything about it. It's a bad fucking look. I'll tell you that. That's what I know. Not looking very good. Can't wait to dive into this on the Patreon, Andy.
That's right. There's so much to say about this, and I'm sure I like this. We've set the table to give ourselves permission to shit all over these people for 4 or 5 episodes over on Patreon. So please join us over there, patreon.com/allapologiespodcast, and check us out on Instagram, where if you want to support the show for free. And the big ask is to find us over on YouTube, the YouTube channel, youtube.com/allapologiespodcast. We just did a fantastic episode with Blind Mike Geary, and Nice Doug from Good Times, Great Movies about Andrew Dice Clay. Yeah, the Patreon content for Brain Smasher is a lot of fun. It's very much a how did this get made, WATP style takedown of a giant piece of shit. But also we had two great subject matter experts for the free episode that is on Patreon now. And I'm releasing the back catalog, like paywall, the stuff that used to be paywall stuff is slowly being populated on the YouTube channel for free now as well. So there's no reason not to subscribe to the Patreon or to the YouTube channel, right, Joe?
Yeah, be like Hall & Oates and subscribe heavily.
All our heroes down at the bottom there. And be sure to check out hackamania.com. Use promo code NLO if you want to come see the WATP gang in Las Vegas.
Lose your entire life savings and go see Tukey and cry to Tukey about it.
Exactly. So for Joe Sixpack, I'm Trucker Andy saying,
"Hey, sorry."